over.
NBA playoffs without the Phoenix Suns, but it's officially pickleball season. Tim Kempton joins us now. Talk some pickleball. How you doing there, Tim? You at your game? You got the new paddles? You playing a lot now, or what?
Can you do me a favor and turn Kevin Harlan down a little bit, please? Holy mackerel!
That's funny. So, Tim, as we look back on this season, give us some positives that you take away. I mean, we can talk about all the negatives, but let's try to. It's a motivational Monday, so give us something positive.
Well, I thought Grayson Allen was a huge positive.
Yeah.
We found someone that fits in with the group age-wise. He's got a unique talent shooting the basketball. I thought that was a big positive. Obviously, you added some big guys. I thought Nurkic and Drew Eubanks were good as a 1-2 punch, but there were times where Frank and the staff lost confidence, I think, more in Drew than anybody. There were games that he wouldn't play because of the matchups, or Frank didn't think the matchup was good, but I loved his energy. I love the way he fit in with the group. So I like the bigs going forward in those two. Bol was a big surprise. I thought that was early on it was it was more of a sideshow with the fans wanting to see him get in there. But once he did, the minutes that he got, he always did well with them. I thought Bol was, he made a case for bringing him back and developing him and see where he fits in with this group a little more.
Tim, when you look at the big three, and we kind of talk about the different roles per se, and then we hear there might have been a little friction in the locker room or whatever the scenario is. If they run it back, as Matt Ishby, the owner, is saying that they're looking to do, what will be different if they run it back? Will there have to be an acceptance of the roles? Will they understand each other more so, or will it just be a change of philosophy that those big they're going to have to deal with?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything. First and foremost, there has to be clear conversation with Frank Vogel and his staff as to what they want and what Frank wants to give them. There definitely has to be a clearer definition of roles and how Frank's going to use them, and they've got to be very vocal in how they want to be used, so there can be an understanding there. I thought the substitution pattern worked very well, but yeah, there's going to have to be some deep, hard conversations if they run it back with those three guys.
Are you kind of hedging your bet a little bit that if they run it back with those three guys? I mean, when you look at the teams that are in right now, Tim, you have one star player, really a star player on the Timberwolves. You have really one star player, although a lot of people would put Jamal Murray in there as well, but he's kind of playing right now on one leg in the Joker. Are teams going away from the super teams and getting one or two top players and then surrounding them with what they need?
Yeah, it does. It's amazing how quick it flips in the NBA, doesn't it? We've talked about these super teams for 2 or 3 years, but then you have organizations and teams that couldn't amass those stars. So what they've done is they've defined their one star on their roster, and then they put some very good players, but definitely above average or pseudo stars on any given night. Yeah, and you look how that has worked out. So has the NBA flipped away from that because of the salary cap restrictions, of the difficulty in dealing with those guys? So yeah, the Suns have a decision to make. Do we run it back and try with these three guys, especially Kevin Durant at his age, or do we try to move one of those guys and get better pieces at the 4, 5, 6, 7? Everybody's talking about Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Nasir and Naz Reid with the Timberwolves. Everybody keeps on saying, "Oh, they're bent." They're not really that deep. They have 7 really, good players. You're talking about Anthony Edwards, and then Karl Anthony Towns is above average. Rudy Gobert is the defensive player of the year. Mike Conley is obviously in the backside of his career, but he's really, really solid. Nothing crazy, just really good. And then you look at those other pieces. Naz Reid coming off the bench. They're just really good 1 through 7. So has the NBA flipped? Because you look at Minnesota, you would consider them a smaller market team with Glenn Taylor that isn't one of these gazillionaires that's going to buck the salary cap and just overspend.
Well, it seems, Tim, what you just mentioned, the common denominator with those two teams, Jamal Murray with Denver, and you talk about Michael Conley with Minnesota, is that point guard, the guy to kind of settle everybody down, get everybody and kind of quarterback the team on the court at that particular time. And I don't know. I mean, I know that you have too many cooks in the kitchen. Things can happen. I mean, I look at Golden State. They made it work with all those superstars, but what was Steph kind of their quasi point guard, if you will? But these other teams have got a true point guard to kind of get everybody in place, it seems.
Yeah, I would hope that they would address that and take the pressure off of those three, of Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant, of having to bring the ball up as well. I'd love to see them, be running off screens, getting to their spots, and as I've said it throughout the season on our broadcast about scoring without the ball. And that is what you talk about Steph Curry, he gives it up and runs off 10 screens before he catches it in a spot. I'd like to see that, more of that activity with the Suns, with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, with someone like a Mike Conley, Jamal Murray, whoever you mentioned, TJ McConnell, someone like that who takes that pressure off, and these guys are scoring easier without having to go through double teams and defenses that are locked in on them with the ball.
We talked about this Friday. They were talking about, well, they may not get their touches if a point guard. I don't like anybody complaining about their touches or lack of touches when you had Steve Nash leading the charge with 7 seconds or less. They just won games, Tim, and you were watching that team, that genre of the Suns. I didn't get that. They don't get their touches. Who cares as long as they win?
Exactly. Winning cures a lot. And if the ball's moving and you're scoring 20 points a night and it's fun, and yeah, just like you said, winning cures a lot of evils, and it doesn't matter. I mean, we saw this team, struggle at times with guys getting too many touches. So again, put someone on the floor that can distribute and get these guys involved in the offense in different ways other than just dribbling the ball up and running a high pick and roll.
All right, let me just ask you then about the games we're going to watch tonight, Tim. We're going to watch a Knicks team led by Jalen Brunson, and then we're going to watch the T-Wolves and also the defending NBA champion Nuggets. How psyched are you? Even though your team is not in it, you have to get excited because you enjoy tremendous NBA basketball.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that second game to see what Minnesota does. If they win this one and go 6-0 in the playoffs to start, they are sending a message. I think Michael Malone has to change up a little bit, give Jokic more rest. DeAndre Jordan's got to come in and play some minutes in the middle and just give Jokic more rest, because they're throwing three guys at Jokic: Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, and Naz Reid. So they're doing it with, just little bites here and there, just wearing him down, all night long. So really interested to see what Michael Malone does with his rotation against those guys, and see if Anthony Edwards continues his climb and just making his presence known as a superstar in these playoffs. And then obviously on the other side, you got the Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. Is Tyrese Halliburton ready for the big stage? And the high-scoring offense of the Indiana Pacers going up against the Knicks, who want to slug it out. They really want to slow this game down, put it in the half court. They don't want to get in the running game the Indiana Pacers who can really score the ball.
Tim, we always appreciate your time, man. Thanks so much. Have a great week.
Yeah, you guys too. Great talking to you. Thanks for having me on.
Tim Kempton. Love having him on. Does a great job for the Suns. Follow him on Twitter at SunsTK. So there you have it. Tim Kempton. This portion, Rock Manuch GV, sponsored by All City Towing. If you're looking for a career that pays great with incredible benefits, All City Towing continues to look for new people to join their team. Head to allcitytowing.com and search careers. That's allcitytowing.com and search careers. All City Towing, statewide service, and they answer your call 24/7. allcitytowing.com. Odell Beckham Jr. finds a new home, and J.J. Watt, the door open